This is the 9th session with King. So we're on week 5, session 9. And here is an update on how he has progressed so far. So first things first, as far as his personality goes, he's playful, energetic, exuberant, which is very good, which always means that he's looking forward to something, to some kind of activity, right? So that's a healthy temperament. So first things that we usually focus on in our training are leash manners, teaching him to take walks and to do it properly. And so as you will see in the video to demonstrate, he's doing well at that now. And I was told that he had challenges whenever he encountered gutters. So I noticed that too, and we worked on it until it got better. So you will see there's an improvement there as well. Now the other thing is we try to focus on the name recall to get him to be more responsive to his name, so that when you call him, he will respond in different circumstances. So it will look like King, yes, very good. So that's the recall right there. And as you can see, he has a good response to it, right? Now, another thing that subconsciously helps with his recall is the use of the e-collar to correct certain behaviors. So using the e-collar to correct those behaviors has automatically helped him to be more responsive, because it sent a signal or it sent a message letting him know that there is someone in charge of you. So whenever he's trying to jump that wall, because there's a dog on the other side, so he gets excited every time the owner comes out, and he goes and he starts to jump and starts to bark and scratches the wall and all that. So whenever he does that, he is corrected with the e-collar by his owner. So whenever those corrections happen, he stops immediately. And those very corrections kind of always remind him that somebody is in charge of him. And so that mentality helps him to naturally be responsive when you call him. Because when you call him, he gets a sense that the person in charge of me is calling me, so he comes. King, yes, very good. So as you see, when I call him, I say yes, immediately he moves to me. That is to mark the response to my call, which is super important. So every single time you call him, you don't want to take it for granted that he is coming to you. You want to encourage the behavior by marking it. So sit, yes. Even when I ask him to sit, as soon as he sits, I mark the behavior immediately, because I want him to understand that he's done what I asked him to do. And every time he does what I ask him to do, he will hear me say yes. I want him to understand that principle. So whenever you call him, as soon as he moves, say yes. It's going to look something like this. King, yes, very good. Sit, yes, very good. Likewise, when you ask him to sit, as soon as he sits, you say yes, and so on and so forth. So the recall is working out. Free, good. The recall is working out pretty well, right? Now, something that I personally noticed about King is that he likes to jump. So what I always do when he jumps is I ignore him first and foremost. So I stand still, okay? And then I make sure that my hands aren't moving. Okay, so I either keep my hands around my chest or behind me. Now, if he jumps, let me see if I can get him, provoke him to jump. If he jumps right in front of me, one extra thing that I add to help send a clear message that that behavior is unacceptable. I mean, because he's big, so you don't want him jumping and getting used to that. So one thing I do is I jerk my knee immediately. So I will raise my knee quickly like that to stop him. So what happens is when I jerk my knee, it hits his chest. So if he applies more intensity in his jump, he will feel a more intense discomfort from my knee. Right? So the less his intensity, the less the intensity of my knee, and the more his intensity, the more the intensity of my knee. So it just means that the worse that behavior gets, the more he's going to get corrected, and then it's going to send a very loud signal for him to stop. So I mean, it's reduced drastically. Otherwise, usually he would be jumping, he wants the treats, he's eager and all that. And then whenever he does, I will use my knee. So that is just by the way. So another thing that we worked on before we get to, routines and stuff is him going into the kennel. So usually you want him to get used to a command when you want him to go inside. So I'll take him towards his kennel, and as I'm walking, I mean, he's around me because we're about to have a session. So obviously I have his attention. He's all over the place. following me to the kennel. Now, when we get here, I usually want to make sure that I create enough space for him to go inside so that I'm not blocking his way. And we've practiced so many times that now automatically he will go inside. That was an issue that I learned the owners had. So happily that has been resolved as well. So when he's inside and I want him to come outside, I usually would say free for him to come out. Free. Yes. And when he comes outside, if he sits like a good boy, yes, I will mark that. I'll reward him for sitting. And then if you want him to go inside, yes. And when he goes inside, you want him to sit. And when he sits, I'll mark yes. And then reward him like a good boy. That teaches him when you go inside, don't jump back out. Go inside, sit down and stay. So I'm going to repeat that again. This time I'll stand on this side. Just make sure he has a clear path. Free. Yes. Good. And then when he sits, yes, that is when you mark and reward. Okay. And then when you want him back inside, you can point and say inside. Yes. And wait for him to sit. Yes. And then reward. Okay. So that marker, yes, is always important. Anything you ask your dog to do, right? Free. Good. Let's go back. Anything you ask your dog to do, as soon as he does, you mark with a yes. So now to our sessions. Come. Okay, so after the recall, the very next thing that we usually try to work on is to teach him to sit. King, sit. Yes, very good. See how quickly he responds to the sit, right? So that's usually the goal, to get a very quick response to that behavior. Now, when I call him and he comes, I want him to usually be in front of me. So in order to do that, yes, good boy. In order to do that, I would usually show him the treats in my hand, in my right hand, right? I would hold the treats and then stretch my hand out when I call him, so that my hand is right in front of me, so that it directs him to come right in front of me. That's how he learned to come in front of me, right? Instead of coming to an awkward position or something. So you just saw when he moved, he came straight to my hand. Now, I'm saying that because usually you want to be consistent with these things so that he continues to be prim and proper. If you become casual about it and you're dangling your hand anywhere, you would begin to come to you and then settle in awkward positions. So whenever you call him, even when you don't have a treat in hand, you can use your hand as a tool to guide him, because he keeps getting treats from it during intentional training sessions. So when you're not in a training session, you can just call him, come, and then there's no treat, but look, you see, I can get him where I want him to be, and he's right in front of me, right? With no treat in my hand, even if I want him on my side. Come. Good. Just turn around, sit, and look, he's right there, right? No treat. So the hand has become a very powerful conductor. So always use it, right? It means that when you are not rewarding or instructing, then your hands shouldn't be dangling by your side. You want to get used to keeping your hands in the center of your body, right? Rested in the center of your body. So that when you want something done, then you begin to use the hand, okay? Especially at this stage where he has begun learning these things. So it's like a foundation level. So, I mean, after you've been communicating with your dog for months, then of course, those things become insignificant. He just becomes very responsive to your demeanor, your mannerisms. But whilst he's at a stage of building the foundation of understanding, you want to be mindful about these little things so that you can use them to properly guide him to be prim and proper. So I'll call him to me, come, sit, and he sits right in front of me. Now you'd notice that, I mean, he's relaxing, so I don't mind if he lies down. Now you notice that whenever he gets to me, when I ask him to sit, I take my hand up, right? Because what happens is, whilst he's learning at the beginning, I'd usually have the treat in my hand. I'd call him, and then when I ask him to sit, I'll ask where I want to keep him. I'll ask at where I want to keep him. So when I stop him here, I still have the treat in my hand. Then now I'll take the treat away upward and ask him to sit. And when he sits, I'll mark yes, and then I'll give it back to him, right? So it always looks something like this. Come, yes, sit, yes, and then it goes back. So because it always looks like that, he's become very used to that gesture. So this gesture has also become a very powerful tool to conduct his behavior. So now with no treat in my hand and without saying sit, I'll call him, and then I'll do this, and then look, he sits like that, because the gesture is enough. I'll do it again. do this, and then he sits, right? That's how powerful the gesture is. So you want to also apply the gesture when you are practicing with him. So whether you have a treat in hand or not, when you call him, you want to do that, right? Now, right after training for the next couple of months, it's important to have these sessions with treats, of course. I always use chopped up chicken sausage. It's soft, it's easy for him to chew and swallow immediately. It's also nutritious, and it's also of high value, so he has an interest in it, right? So you can use that, and whenever you call him, remember to use the gesture, sit, yes, remember to mark, and then reward, okay? And you always mark before the reward, so he hears yes before the reward. So whenever we work on it face to face, an important thing that I like to do is to work on it side by side. So with a side by side, first of all, I will free him. If I ask him to sit, I want him to get used to waiting for me to free him. So the reason he's not running around is because he's gotten used to that. So whenever I'm freeing him, I wave my hand with a treat to my side, and then I say free, and then look, he gets up. Now I can lure him back behind me, turn him around, and then bring him to my side. Raise the treat above his head and say sit, yes, good, and then reward him, okay? Now, whenever I'm rewarding, I have the treat in my hand like a bowl. I have my thumb supporting it, and then I curve it like that, like a bowl, and I put it underneath his mouth. Then he picks it up, right? So that's when he's in front of me. When he's on my side like this, it means I curve the bowl upside down like that, and then he picks it up, okay? Without hurting yourself, you don't get hurt in any way. So what I just did, putting him on the side, come, getting him on the side like this, sit, yes. It's important to practice that as well. So you don't want it to always be a face-to-face affair. You want him to get used to this, yes, this side-by-side affair. Because in reality, whenever you're at home and he's not on a leash, it's a face-to-face affair. When you call him, he comes to you, you communicate face-to-face. But when you're outside taking a walk, then it becomes a side-by-side affair. So he's always on one side, like that. So whenever you're teaching him instructions, you want him to get used to listening to you face-to-face, and also listening when he's on your side. So I would always practice one sit in front of me and one sit on my side. So I'll practice one on my right side, free, turn him around, so we are facing the same direction, sit, yes, reward. Then I'll practice one on my left side. So I put a treat in my left hand now, free him, free, take him all the way around, turn him around, bring him, sit, yes, and then reward. Okay, and then now I can free him, free, yes, good. So just be mindful of that. It means that also with the down command, we practice face to face and side by side, and that's the next thing that we go to. So with a down command, I always make sure that the treat is in my hand, right? So that when he does the action, I can quickly reward him. So first of all, I'll make sure that he's right in front of me. So if I call him, come, when he gets in front of me, I'll take the treat away when he sits, and I have him where I want him. I'll just point down and say down, and then I'll wait. Yes, as soon as his elbows make contact with the floor, I say yes, and then I reward. And then whilst he's still down, I'll free him. Free, yes, very good. Now it's important to free him after the down so that he gets used to the idea also with the down position, so that when he's in the down, he doesn't get up on his own whim and run around. He waits for you to instruct him otherwise. So I'm going to demonstrate again since he's already in front of me. Down, yes, and reward. And whilst he's still down, sometimes I'll just wait a while and then mark again and reward. Yes, and then reward. Just to encourage him that yes, that's the idea. When you're down, stay down until I tell you otherwise. Yes, and reward. And then when I'm ready, I free him. Free, yes, good, very good boy. Okay, so the next thing is to get him to also do a sit from a down. Now when your dog is lying down, he's very comfortable. So because it's a comfortable position for him to be in, it means that if you want him to sit from a down, then you have to encourage him. So what I do is I hold a treat above his head whenever I ask him to sit from a down. So that's very different from asking him to sit when he's standing. When he's standing, I just lift my hand and he'll sit, right? But when he's down, then I'll hold a treat above his head and say, sit. Sit. And then he sits, yes, and then I reward. Okay, that's how you encourage him. When he sees the treat up there, he's motivated So no matter how comfortable he feels, he has that to motivate him to get out of his comfort and sit because you asked him to. So again, because he's at the foundation of understanding these things and it will take time to build and become cemented, you want to use those gestures to help him succeed. Okay, so I'm going to free him. Free, yes. And then we'll do it fresh. So I'll call him. Come, yes. Sit, yes. Down, yes. And then I'll hold it above his head. Sit, yes. Yeah, as soon as he saw it, then he came into the sit, yes. And then reward. So when he sat down, you notice he did a slight jump. And what did I do? Nothing. I just ignored him until he was back in the sit. Then I said yes, and then gave him a treat. So now I'm going to do the same thing on my side. Free. So first I turn him, sit, yes. Then I point down, keep my finger pointed, and wait. Down, yes. Give him his reward. Then now before we free him, we'll do a sit from the down. So I'll hold a treat above his head. Sit, yes, and then reward him. Then now I'll free him. Free. So this time I'm going to do it on the left side. So I'm going to switch hands, hold a treat to my left hand this time. Right? Come. Turn him around. Sit, yes. Point down. Yes. Give him the reward. And then whilst he's down, put him into a sit. Sit, yes. Give him the reward. And then now I'll free him. Free. Yes, very good. Very good. So you practice that face to face and then side by side as well. So you can notice his responses are very sharp, very quick. So now the next thing is to teach him to stay even when you have to move away from him for whatever reason. So for the foundation of that, you want him face to face like he is right now. And come, sit, yes. You want to be the one to put him into the position. And now that he's in the position, before I leave him, I will enforce the behavior by saying, good sit. And then I'll walk away. Whenever I say good sit, then he knows that he's doing what I want him to do, so he should keep doing it. Now, if I get to any point and I stop and he's still seated, I'll mark. But when he breaks free like this, then I'll say no as soon as he breaks free. Because I was talking, I couldn't say it on time. I'll say no, and then I'll take him back to the same position. So, this way. Sit. Yes. Good sit. So this is the final stage of our basic obedience program. So this is what we are working on for the next couple of weeks. So when I get here and he's still there, I'll say, yes, good. Then I'll walk back to him and then reward him. Yes. And reward. Then afterwards, I'll free him. Free. Yes. Good. So that's the first stage of that. So I'm going to repeat that. Since he made the error the first time, I'm going to try afresh and then see if this time he'll make an error or not. And what I'm going to deliberately do is spend a longer time than I did the previous time. The previous time I stood for about 5 seconds. This time I'll count to 10. Now if I count to 10, I don't mind if he makes the mistake because I want that to happen in order to correct it so that the next time I count to 10, he will stay. And then when that works, then I'll count to 15. And then when that works, then I'll count to 20. So the idea is to get him to understand the principle of staying longer, right? And controlling his impulse to come to me. And understanding that I'll reward him for staying. So I'll bring him back. Come. This way. Yes, good. Sit. Yes, good sit. So when I get here, I'll mark. Yes. And then I'll wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yes. Notice when I read 10, I marked. Then when I get here, I'll mark again. Yes. And then reward. And then now I'll free him. Free. Yes. Good. Very good. So now before we move to counting to 15, going and staying for 10 counts, I'm going to do it in such a manner that I'll go and come back 3 times in a row. And if he gets 10 counts the first time, 10 counts the second time, and 10 counts the third time, then I'll free him. So come. Good. Sit. Yes. Good sit. I'm gonna leave him. So now I'm gonna do my first count to 10. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yes. Then I'm gonna come and reward him and then reinforce and go back again. Yes. Now reinforce. Good sit. Go back again. So count to 10 again. 1. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yes. Then I'm gonna come back and reward. Yes. Then I'm gonna reinforce and leave again. Good sit is the third one. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yes. So this time after I reward, I'll free him. Yes. Good. Very good. Good boy. Free. Yes. Good boy. Very good. So when he does well like this, then this is the time to cuddle him. Yes. Very good. Because that was a big assignment. So for him getting that right, yes, I want him to know he's done very, very well. Okay. So now I'm going to do the same thing on my side before we move to 15 counts, right? So what I'm going to do is we're going to go the other way this time. So this time I'll start from here. So I'm going to take him back, turn him in a U-turn, and now he's on my side. Sit. Yes, good sit. Now this one is tricky because when I'm walking, my back is to him. So yes, good sit. Then I walk. So he just got up. No. Take him back. Come. Turn him around. Sit. Yes. Good sit. Then walk away with my back to him. So this time he's still there. So when I get here, turn around. Yes. And then I'll count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yes. Now this is the more difficult one because when I'm walking, my back is to him, right? Yes, very good. And then I'm going to go back again. I'm going to turn around when I say good sit. Good sit. Turn around. Is he still there? Yeah. So when I get here and I turn and he's there. Yes. And then I'll count. No. So this time when he heard yes, he thought I was freeing him. So I said, no, I'm taking him back. So we're going to start again. So that first one doesn't count. So we're starting again. 1, 3 in a row. Sit. Yes. Good sit. And then I walk away. So this time I'm going to do it a little quicker because he has had a couple of corrections. Yes. Good sit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yes. And then mark again. Yes. And reward. Then reinforce. Good. Good sit. Turn around. No. Take him back. So with your back turned to him, it's always a little bit more tricky. So it means that when he gets this right, sit. Yes. Good sit. When he gets this right, then we know that we've made an advancement. No, come back. So at this point, he's getting a little bit frustrated, which is always one of the best opportunities for learning. Sit. It just requires more patience because now mistakes will be a bit faster. But when he does the mistakes because he's frustrated about 3 or 4 times and you still correct and he finally gets it, then the learning in that is a lot. So yes, good sit. Then I'm gonna walk away. Turn. Yes, good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yes. And then I'm gonna come and reward. Yes. Then I'll reinforce again. Good. Good sit. Walk away again. No. So he's getting impatient, but as I said, it's an opportunity for learning and advancing. Sit. Yes. Good sit. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yes. Yes. Good sit. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yes. Yes. Good sit. Turn and walk away. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yes. Yes. Very good. So that was the third one. So now I can free him. Free. Yes. Very good. Good. Very good. So now we can all clearly see the advancement, right? So this time, what I'm going to do is, with the 15th count, I'm not going to start from that basic face-to-face, right? Because that's the foundation. So now with the 15th count, I'm going to do the difficulty, which is him being on my side. So this time we'll move to that side and start from there. You always want to switch sides so that he gets used to being comfortable doing this in different spots, right? So this time, this way. So same thing, but 15 counts. Sit. Yes. Good sit. Now walk away. So because he was at this position before, his urge to come here is high. So if he stays, he's done well. Yes, good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Yes. So again, this will be 3 in a row. So this is the first one. Yes. Very good. Good sit. Turn and walk away. So always reinforce with good sits before you walk away. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Yes. Good. Yes. Very good. Reinforce again. Good sit. Turn and walk away. So this is the third one. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. No! So this is me advancing, come back, to 30 counts, right? And it's very, very deliberate. So sit, yes, good sit. That's the subtle, tricky way of advancing. So it's like he's expecting to get up on 15 counts and then he's staying longer. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. No problem if he lies down. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Yes, very good. So he definitely gets the idea. I'll free him this time and explain something. Yes, very good. Very good. Free. Yes, good. Good boy. Come. So he did very, very well, right? And I had no problem with him lying down at all, because actually this is something that you usually do with your dog in a down position. Why? Because you are leaving him for longer durations of time. So you want to leave him in a position that's comfortable for him, right? And when he's sitting, his limbs get tired. So leaving him in a sitting position is unfair to him. But during training, I do that because I want him to really be able to differentiate and to really be able to be disciplined when I need him to be, in case I really do need him to sit in a particular moment. But when I'm doing this for extended periods, like counts of 30, I will definitely usually do this in a down. But him getting that in the sit is cool. So now our goal is I'm going to get him in a down, and then I'm going to do a 30 count, 3 in a row, and then after that I'm going to mark the close of today's session. Sit. Yes, so when he sits awkwardly like this, I don't like the angle. I free him free, I bring him back, and I want him to do it properly, right by my side. Good. Sit. Yes, this is better. All right, down. Yes, good down. So this time, instead of good sit, I said what? Good down. Because what position is he in? He's in the down position. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Yes. So 3 in a row. So this is the first one. Yes. Reinforce again. Good down. And I always say it loud and clear, because you want him to hear you clearly enough to respond very well to the texture of your voice. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Yes. Yes. Reinforce again. Good down. Turn and walk away. Turn. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Yes. So this time, after I reward him, I will free him. Yes. Very good. Free. Yes. Good boy. Good boy. Very good boy. Very good boy. Very good boy. Good boy. Good. So, I mean, he's done very, very well. And you notice how after the corrections, he's grasped it. He understands it. Okay. So our next session, you know, he might forget a few things, but then I'll need fewer corrections to get him to this point. Today I need fewer corrections than our last session, and that session I needed fewer corrections than the one before. So I mean, that is how he improves. And then how I demonstrated you correct him when he breaks free by saying no immediately and taking him back to the same spot is the principle of correction that you should apply. Because in your own applications, it's not going to be perfect. There'll be times when he'll get it wrong. But if you neglect the correction, then he'll continue to get it wrong more and more. But if you correct him each time he gets it wrong, which will be fewer times now that he has learned it, then, you know, you're only going to help to polish him to be better and better over the months to come.